down to the wire for the December Community Postcard.
And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jose Morales, and I've been building my shared postcard business since May of 2025. And on this channel, I document the part that nobody else talks about. The real struggles, the real setbacks, and the real work it actually takes to get a card out in the mail, right? And everyone has a different journey. But I share my wins, but more importantly, I share the parts that seems to be hidden. Right? Everyone talks about all the glamour, and it's true, right? It's just not true for me right now. And maybe if you're in the struggle bus like I am, it's not true for you. But that doesn't mean that it's not true. But I also put together a community for you guys. Go ahead and click the link that's in my bio. It's also in the description. Probably be down in the comments as well. Join my community. It's free to join. Would love to have you. It's my invitation to you to go ahead and join that, whether you're thinking about doing this business, whether you're already doing this business, whether you're super successful at this business. It don't matter. Just come and hang out with us in the community there.
So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So this week I went out and did some business to business, and to be honest with you, I can't remember if I already posted those videos or not, but I did business to business. And then yesterday I was also sending out some emails. I did some Facebook messages, and what I got yesterday, and yesterday was probably like the first time where I got multiple responses from my online outreach efforts. Typically I don't really get much, or it's very rare that somebody might actually respond and say, not interested. Is typically what ends up happening. But I did get those not interested responses. But one of the restaurants that I had reached out to, they just opened up maybe earlier this month, and so I sent them a message, and I didn't even know that they had another location further north of where this one is. So they have one that's further north, and I sent them a message, and they did respond, and they asked me how much. So I sent them the response, kind of broke it down to them so that they could not only just see that, hey, this is the price point, but this is what it ends up being per card. And so probably like an hour or so went by, and then they hit me, or no, it was probably longer than that. So because it was like last night when then I got the message back saying, hey, would you be able to swing by at 2 o'clock? So I responded, said yes, I can go there. And this is where when I found out that they had another location, they said, hey, can you come to this location? So they told me which one, and I said, so I said, yeah, I could be there. And that's where I'm headed right now. I'm going to go visit with them. They told me, I said, hey, who do I need to ask for? So I got that information, and I have a postcard with me that I'm going to show them. And I'm going to sit there and just try to find out, okay, where they at. I'm not 100% sure how long their other location has been open for, but like I said, I've never heard of it. But when I Googled it, because I didn't want to be like, hey, well, where's it located? I figured, hey, you know what? I'll do the work, and if I can't find it for whatever crazy reason, I'll message them back. But so I Googled it, and when I saw it, I'm just like, oh, okay, I know where that's at. So it's just like half a block away from a pizza shop that I'll do marketing for every once in a while. And when I saw that, I'm just like, oh, okay, I know where that's at. But I've never really paid attention to it, never noticed it, and obviously didn't pay attention to the name, obviously, otherwise I would have been like, oh yeah, I know where that's at. But that's where I'm going right now. And the other things that I was doing today is I sent out a few emails. Now, there was one carpet cleaning business. I really want to get a carpet cleaning business on my card. But so when I was looking at okay, what carpet cleaning companies can I reach out to, I came across one that I had already sent out an email to, or I believe I talked to them on the phone, I texted them, and then I also sent them an email probably like early October. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna send them another email, just a follow-up, and just said, hey, just circling back, and then I gave them some more information. I mean, there's only so much information you can give, right? Because the model is super simple, easy to understand, pretty straightforward. But now I actually had a postcard. So now I sent them the postcard, and they haven't responded, and I'm going to follow up with them again. Tomorrow will be my last follow up with them, because I really need to get this card closed out, and I'll touch more on that here in a minute. But they haven't responded, but they are opening up the email. I think they've opened it up like 4 times already. So my guess is that they're kind of going back and forth on it, but who knows, right? Only they know what's kind of going through their mind. So that's why I will probably just give them one last push tomorrow, and then after that I'm just gonna have to close it out. So currently right now I'm at the break-even stage. I still need to follow up with a couple of the advertisers from my November card to see if they're gonna jump on it. They said that they were, and but you know, I need to just do that last follow-up piece. I did hear back from one of the advertisers, and they said that they were gonna wait and, you know, continue to wait and see, you know, how the November one performed, and then they would get back to me and to possibly get back on the January postcard. So as of right now, like 100% confirmed, I've lost 2 of the advertisers that I had on the previous card, but I'm still going to stay in touch with them, and I'm still trying to find ways that I can provide value to them. You know, like whether it's like, hey, you know, here's a good Facebook post, or hey, here's, you know, something that you can maybe text out to your past clients, or, you know. So I'm still trying to think of like different ways that I can still continue to be popping in without selling them anything, trying to get them to spend money with me, but where I'm just providing value so that I can continue to have that relationship with them. And when they feel like, hey, you know what, I want to jump on the card again, or maybe they'll be like, you know, man, Jose just keeps giving me stuff. Like, you know, I haven't done business with them, you know, for a month or 2 months, but he just continues to just shoot stuff my way. Or and the other thing too, while I don't have, for example, let's just say that I have a painter, and the painter doesn't want to jump on the card again, you know, right now, because they want to see, okay, what's the results going to be like for this one. If I don't have another painter that's going to be on whatever card I'm working on, then what I'm going to do is any opportunity that I have to refer business to that painter, I'm going to do that, because again, I want to, you know, anything that I can possibly do to stay in front of these local businesses, these business owners, continue to stay in front of them, but just constantly providing them value. So for example, I have this, I went and had gotten my haircut earlier or last month or something like that. I can't remember now. And you know, so I was talking to the barber, younger guy. You know, in my head, I'm just like, you know, a kid. But I was talking to him, and you know, we were just chopping it up. And you know, my intention was not to go there and try to pitch him, but we did get to talking about marketing. And so I was talking to him, and you know, he was just like, oh, you know, he liked the postcard idea, and then, you know, he was asking me, hey, do you think that this postcard would be good for me? And the side of town that he's in versus the side of town that I'm targeting, you know, it doesn't mesh really well. But I ended up reaching back out to him, and I said, hey, you know what, I've been thinking, and if you don't offer this service currently, maybe you'd be open to it. But I said, what if you jumped on the card, maybe you could pitch it as a, you know, mobile service. You'll go to them, and maybe even charge like a premium, you know, make it a premium price, right? Because now he's traveling to them, and you know, he did a really great job with my haircut. And I've been to quite a few different barbers here since I moved here 5 years ago. And I really haven't stuck to really any one in particular, but but I'm probably going to end up sticking with this kid, not because of the conversations that we've been having, but just he did a pretty good job. But anyhow, I know there was on one of the groups, somebody was asking for a barber, or asked if somebody could, something about elderly. I think maybe they had an elderly parent or something like that. And so I tagged his business page. I said, and I gave his name. I said, hey, call this guy. He's freaking awesome and super friendly, yada yada yada, right? And this was maybe last week or something like that. And then he just messaged me yesterday because he just saw it and he was very appreciative. And then I said, hey, he said, hey, I'm probably not going to get on this December one. I might be able to get on the January one, which is fine. And I said, hey man, kind of was thinking, I don't know if you would be open to this. I don't even know if this is possible. However, if you're not nervous about doing some cold calling, I said I would cold call some nursing homes, because they probably face some challenges with getting haircuts, right? Whether it is the nursing home having to gather everyone, and I don't know how any of this stuff works, gathering people up to take them to a barber or something like that. I have no clue, zero clue how any of that works. I've never experienced nursing homes. I've never had anyone in a nursing home or anything like that, so zero clue how that works. But I was throwing that at him, and the reason for that is so that, again, bringing him value, even though I'm not going to be the person that's going to be calling or anything like that, but maybe it was something that he had never thought of. Because imagine if the nursing home is just like, hey, that would be absolutely fantastic, and then he has like one set day where it's just people that are there in the nursing home that he's giving haircuts to. Obviously it would have to be at a discounted rate, or however he wants to do it, but he loved that idea, and he's gonna go ahead and give that a try. And he also talked about, I'll probably do it at a discount, and it'd be more of a volume type of cutting hair versus the higher cost. And I don't know if that made any sense, but again, it was just kind of giving them some ideas there for that, because I think that would be a really good thing if he could be able to do that. Because if there's people in the nursing homes that need a haircuts but they just aren't able to get it, or there's just too much lag time in between, whatever the case may be, this could be a good way for them to be able to get the service that they need. So I'm hoping that he does make those phone calls and that he's able to land a nursing home or two. Who knows? We'll see. But even though he hasn't done business with me, any opportunity that I get to send business his way or ideas, I'm going to go ahead and shoot it over to him, because it's one of those things where, and I've talked about it in one video, where at any given point there's like 1 to 3% of people that are ready to buy, and that doesn't mean that they're ready to buy from you, just they're ready to buy. And then there's the, we'll say the 97% of people that are not ready to buy. That does not mean that they are not your ideal client. They're just not ready to buy for whatever reason, right? Whether it's because they don't have the cash right now, or that you haven't built enough trust with them, whatever the case may be. So that's kind of how I try to tackle the online world, because that's typically how that works. Everybody goes after that 1 to 3%. So your Facebook ad, your Instagram ad, your whatever ad is pretty expensive, because everyone is going after that 1 to 3% of the audience, which means what? It's a very small audience, and you're fighting your competitors for that little piece of audience, while everyone else is ignoring that 97% of the other bigger audience, right? So, for me, I try to focus on, okay, that 97%, so that I can then create my own little 2 to 3%, right? And that takes time. When you look at some bigger brands, let's just say, McDonald's or Coke or Pepsi or anything like that, they've already invested decades upon decades and billions of dollars in going after that 97% of the audience, right? Because now when they go and post, hey, buy this new flavor, people are automatically going to buy it, right? Because they already have nurtured this 97% of the audience, right? People from there, and they have slowly been leading them towards the conversion, towards the purchase. So one of the ways you can look at it is look at, and I know I'm kind of going off onto the online world, but it also applies here. This is how I'm trying to apply it to what I'm doing. So from the online world perspective, let's just say that you show an ad to that 97% of people that are not ready to buy right now. So picture a crane. So you're picking these people up, and then you got a conveyor belt. And then so you're putting these people on the beginning of the conveyor belt. Well, in order for this conveyor belt to be moving towards the end, which is the conversion part where people buy, you got to constantly be feeding that conveyor belt with more content, because people need to spend basically, 7 hours with you. 7 hours with you, 11 different touch points, and on like 4 different channels, right? So you got Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, just throw in 4 different ways that they are engaging with you, okay? So it takes that long. So, they say, hey, when you go on a date, once you go on that 3rd date, then the chances of things, getting better for you or the relationship actually turning into something, starts to happen after that 3rd date. But that's because you've already kind of hit that 7 hour timeline, right? So just kind of little way of trying to paint the picture there. So and I'm losing track because I'm like driving and it's raining and all that. But so what I'm doing is basically kind of the same thing. Is like, so he's part of my 97% of the audience that is not ready to buy. So what I'm doing is I'm leading him towards. So I have him on the conveyor belt right now, and I keep reaching out to him, and it's just like, hey man, hey, have you thought about this, or hey this, or hey that, right? So I'm leading him towards the end of the conversion or end of the conveyor belt, and I don't know how long that's going to take, but he's already on that conveyor belt, right? So little by little, I'm building trust with him, and then obviously I'm going to go get my haircut with him again, not to pitch him or anything like that, but to continue to get that conveyor belt to be going towards the purchase side. Now, think of your own personal buying behaviors or just the way that you consume content or anything like that. When you see an ad, you don't just automatically go buy the thing right away. Can it happen? Absolutely. That's where that 1 to 3% of the people that are ready to buy, that's where that part comes in, right? But anyhow, I know this is my video's probably like kind of all over the place, but I just pulled up to the restaurant, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause this and come back, and hopefully everything goes good. And again, this, maybe this is one of those that's in that 1 to 3% of people that are ready to buy. So we'll see, and kind of go from there. The good thing is, talking to restaurant owners is a little bit easier for me, because I really understand the restaurant world. So I'm going to segue towards that way, ask some basic questions, so that then they can see like, oh, this guy knows restaurants, and I am going to tell them like, oh yeah, I come from the restaurant world. But anyhow, let me go ahead and jump in here real quick. All right, I'm back. So when I messaged the restaurant, it was his wife. So his wife, basically sent me over to meet with him, and super nice guy. So now I'm gonna go meet with him and his wife a little bit later tonight. But he is wanting to do it, but he just wants to go over like more details in person, like, and then also so I can get like logo and that kind of stuff, and what they want to have on the postcard. But even though he said it's probably gonna want to have hang on, because I'm trying to figure out how to, let's see, all right. Needs to figure out like kind of what he wants to have on there. Right now he's thinking obviously that it's now open, also that they have lunch specials, phone number, website, that kind of stuff. Doesn't want a whole lot on it, but we're gonna meet with his wife and all that, just to make sure that we're on the same page on everything. And it sounds like he also knows other restaurant owners, so I'm gonna talk more about that. I know, like right now, he was a little bit on the hang on, guys. Did I turn the wrong way? Shoot. I think I went the wrong way, or did I? Sorry, it's like I said, it's raining, and I'm driving, and I'm gonna get on the interstate here. But overall, it was really good. He was also showing me other areas in the city, because he asked me if I did anywhere else, and I said, not right now. I was like, I really want to, but I'm not at that point yet. So he was showing me some. He was showing me like other areas, and around his restaurant. And I told him, like, eventually I'll get to all of that stuff. And I said, but in the meantime, I can also do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and I told him, I was just like, you see this pizza restaurant that's on the postcard? I was just like, he's just on the street from you, right here. And then the funny thing is that his other restaurant is basically in front of the other restaurant that's on the postcard. So he's just like, oh yeah. He's just like, yeah, I recognize that now. So I'm pretty excited. I still need a lot more people on the card. This will get me out of the break-even point. But yeah, I don't remember where I left off, but I was doing also some text messaging outreach today as well. I had one person. They called me back, so instead of responding to me via text, they just called me back, which was great. And the reason I say that is because, since I've been cold calling, text messaging, all this and this and that, a lot of businesses don't answer, or they don't call back. And again, people don't know that that's why I'm calling. That people don't know that that's why I'm text messaging them, because I'm going to pitch them something. But yet they fail to answer the call. They failed to call back or even message back. So I was pretty impressed that they actually, in my opinion, even though this should be the standard, they went above and beyond to call to see how they could help me. So just because of that, even though they aren't jumping on the card, but just because of that, and since the fact that I don't have any carpet cleaning companies, this is a carpet cleaning company, because I don't have any carpet cleaning companies on there, I'm going to refer business to them whenever I have an opportunity to do so. And I'll probably, going back to my, the 97% of the people that aren't ready to buy. So, and from an offline standpoint, I already put them on the conveyor belt. So I went ahead and sent him some information. So he gave me permission to send him information. So now I sent that over to him, right? So now I have put him on the conveyor belt. So now it's up to me to be feeding more content, we'll call it, more content to them to get that conveyor belt to keep moving, so that eventually he'll get to the grand finale, which is a conversion, which is, hey, I'm ready to jump on the postcard, right? So hopefully that's making sense, because everything takes time, and I do get frustrated. Till this day, I get frustrated that things ain't moving quick enough, right? Things ain't moving quick enough. So I was talking to my friend, and again, I used to deal with franchises. So he's just like, you had to deal with people that had to write a check for like all this money, right, to open up a business. He's like, you didn't have to do that, man. He's like, so it's going to take time to build this up, and yes, it does suck, and every day I got to remind myself, and it's difficult, right? Because it's like, I want things to happen now because I need it to happen now, but unfortunately, it's one of those things where I just have to go I have to, have that journey. My journey, as I mentioned, isn't the same as other people's journeys. Other people have, the journey that I want, which is they come across the 9x12, they come across the community card, and they go out and do it, and bam, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards out with ease, right? They're able to quit their job, and that's just not the case for me, and that's what makes it very frustrating. Not frustrating in a bad, not because of any bad vibes towards them or negative feelings towards them, but just for my own journey, where it's just like, man, like, why did I end up in a market where it was going to be challenging? And again, I already knew, don't confuse with what I'm saying. I already knew from the very beginning that it was going to be difficult. I just didn't understand or realize just how difficult it was going to be, because I'm watching these videos just like you're watching videos of like people just doing this as a side gig, and then bam, right? Like they can quit their job or this or that. They can make a quick $4,000 or $5,000 for whatever it is that they need, a vacation. Hang on, guys, I'm trying to vacation, or whatever, insert whatever, right? So in my head I was thinking, okay, it's going to take me anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks to get a card filled. That's what I thought. So I started by going out and doing door to door, because I wanted to shorten that as much as possible, and it didn't work out that way. And that's where the frustration over time just starts to build. And I just have to remember that unfortunately that 1 to 3% of people that are ready to buy, somebody else is out there snatching them up, whether it's for radio ads, right, whether it's for billboards, whatever the case may be, magazines, Valpak. So I need to continue to find that 97% of people and keep continuing to put them on the conveyor belt, so that one day, all of a sudden, it's just like I got a pile of people towards the end of the conveyor belt, right? So that every month I have 1 to 3% of people at the end of that conveyor belt that are ready to buy, that are ready to jump on the postcard. And I could probably do another video on it explaining it, but again, I kind of went over that in the video that I did. I can't remember if it was like day 4 or day 5 on the my day in the life of doing the 9x12, and it was on Mitch's channel. I also have it on the playlist if you guys want to check that out. But so for right now, that's kind of what I'm doing with my Facebook ads. Is I'm just going after that 97%. I'm nurturing those people, and I'm not spending a whole lot because I don't have a whole lot. But I still want to be able to stay, even if I'm staying in front of 10 people, that's better than staying in front of nobody, right? So I have that, and every once in a while it's just like, okay, let me just put an extra 20 bucks on it. Let me put an extra 30 bucks on it, right? Just to increase my visibility for a little bit. Give me a second. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna do any more recording after this, as far as later tonight when I meet them. So right now it is going on 3 o'clock. I told them I could probably meet with them at 5 o'clock. I got some other things I got to take care of, and I also need to visit that restaurant that's behind his new restaurant. But I'm pretty excited to find out, because he told me, he's just like, yeah, he's like, when we're down there, I'll tell you about the other restaurants. So I was just like, all right, cool. So I'm pretty excited about that, because I also told him, or I put this in his ear, where it's just like, I've also been thinking about doing a card where it's just nothing but restaurants. So I wanted to plant that seed, because who knows, he might end up being a strategic partner, right? He might be, I don't know who all he knows as far as like restaurants. And I got to ask him about other businesses too. But at the same time, it was still, it was 2 o'clock or a little bit after 2 when I met up with him. So, basically after the lunch rush, so there's still stuff going on, and he was in a hurry, but he wanted to sit down and talk to me, listen to me, and all of that. So, but hopefully tonight, as we're at his new restaurant. So when I've driven by his new restaurant, It's usually like there's nobody in the dining room, and there's still a lot of people that don't know that it exists. Plus, when you drive by there, excuse me, when you drive by there, there's another restaurant next to it, and that parking lot, it's not a very big parking lot. It gets pretty full, so as you're driving by, all you see is all these cars, and it kind of makes it a little difficult to see, okay, what are the businesses that are there? Unless you already know what businesses are there, you're gonna miss it. So so I'm gonna bring that up to him as well and be like, hey, you know, so even though he's pretty much already sold on it, but I want him to kind of see it from somebody else's perspective as to, hey, when people are driving by my restaurant and the parking lot is pretty much full because of this other restaurant, you know, people have no idea that I'm here. Obviously, the people that are going into that other restaurant, they're able to see his restaurant, but the way that it sits in the strip mall, it's like this little notch. So you have these other businesses there, and his is just like this little narrow notch. And that's the way that it looks from the outside. I don't know how it is from the inside, but so it could be hard to, it could be easy to miss. It could be easy to miss. So I want to sit there and provide as much value to him as possible, because I also want to see, okay, you know, right now for the restaurant that I was just at, he says that, you know, he has a pretty good crowd of people already, but I'm still gonna be mentioning, hey, you know, Facebook, this and that. So I told him, hey, you know, for that restaurant right there, sometimes I'll do some Facebook ads for him when he needs me to do something like that. So so I'm gonna keep pushing that part too. But anyhow, make sure that you guys subscribe, you hit that notification bell, and join the community. It's 100% free for you to join. Would love to have you on there. And as I've said, and I'll probably say it, you know, a bunch of times for a while, is like, my journey doesn't mean that you will, that doesn't mean that this is the journey that you'll end up having. The only way you'll know what journey you're going to be on is when you start taking action and you start doing it, right? And I don't know where you are at specifically right now in your journey. I don't know if right now you're just consuming content to see if this is going to be a right fit for you, or you're just in that consuming content as far as, you know, just trying to see what other people are going through, or getting more information, right? Or maybe you're already doing it. Maybe you're in the same position that I am, where it's just like, Jose, I've been trying to sell my first car, you know, I'm on my second month, my third month, and it's just not, I'm just not able to crack the code, right? But yeah, so just make sure that you go ahead and click the link for my community. It's in the bio, it's in the description, and it might even be down in the comments below. Again, would love to have you be a part of the community there, even if you're not doing it yet. But you know, just gives you another place to kind of hang out and maybe learn something. Sometimes I'll put stuff in there that I don't post on YouTube, so just kind of FYI there. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it loose. Make sure you watch one of these videos or one of these. Not sure where it's gonna pop up. Eventually I'm gonna know which way it's gonna pop up, but for right now I don't know, but here it is.